Wow, guys, what in tarnation is going on with y'all today? I have a microphone that I believe is working. You guys can, of course, tell me if it's not working. We're going to go over a lot of feuds today in the NFL, but this is the Rover Sports Football Show, RSFS. It is going to be every single Wednesday. It's going to be ranging from 20 minutes to an hour-long live show. And I'm basically going to be talking football for that hour. I'll entertain your questions. I'll probably come up with topics of my own that interest me. Hopefully it interests you guys as well. I'll also be holding this football, so I don't know. It just kind of is a comfortable thing to do while I'm doing this show. I appreciate everybody coming in to watch the channel. And Pete, how are you, dude? I haven't talked to you in a while, man. How is everything with your channel? Tonight is going to be what's it called on Catfish's station? It's going to be Uncle Lou versus what's his name from Alabama? Law Tide. It's going to be perfect. But Uncle or Pigskin, I don't know where your thoughts are on this Baker Mayfield situation, but I'm going to tell you it right now. First of all, it's not a big deal that much, but the media, it's very good for us media members because we need things to talk about, okay? Especially if there's no breaking news. But let's get the biases out of the way. I like Baker Mayfield, and I don't really like Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson wasn't very good. He definitely seemed soft and phony, and there could be some inside information to that Browns facility where he was a fraud and he was a fake. But the bottom line is this about the situation. Hugh Jackson is, what was he, 2-34 as a head coach? You'd be lucky to ever get signed in the NFL again and not get blackballed from the freaking NFL. So if I'm Hugh Jackson, it was a brilliant move to go back into the NFL immediately and get that brown stench off of yourself. So he didn't just go into the NFL to say, F the Cleveland Browns, screw Baker Mayfield. He didn't do that at all. He didn't choose to go to Cincinnati. He doesn't give two shits about Baker Mayfield and Cleveland anymore. He's trying to better his career, and he needed to do that. He needed to do that. So for Baker Mayfield to think that Hugh Jackson is going to the Bengals just to win a game versus the Browns, no. He's doing it because now he can possibly replace Marvin Lewis. He was there before Marvin Lewis. So this whole, him going back to Cincinnati, Bill Parcells went to the Cowboys. Rex Ryan went to the Bills. All the time you see coaches go places in the NFL. All the time you see coaches. And if you're Hugh Jackson, you needed to do that. Why would you say, I'm not going back to Cincinnati because I don't want to offend Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns? No, you got to worry about yourself. It's a business. It's the NFL. Stop getting your feelings hurt. With that being said, it's smart that Baker Mayfield and Demarius Randall went after Hugh Jackson because it gave them their chip on their shoulder. But it is a kind of Bush League chip on your shoulder. The argument doesn't make much sense, okay? Why would Hugh Jackson purposely go back to the NFL to fuck over the Browns? It makes no sense. No sense. No, he doesn't have to. But Baker Mayfield is saying why. But Baker Mayfield is saying, why is Hugh Jackson coaching the Bengals? And it's because that's the only job he's going to get, Pete. It's not like he's I can get a job out of the division. You know what I mean? It's not like I can get a job out of the division and I'm choosing to go to the Bengals. The Bengals are the only organization dumb enough to hire him. So, listen, Baker Mayfield, I like what he said, but at the same time, he insulted Hugh Jackson for going to the Bengals, which really doesn't make any sense because the guy is on last stand mode. It's like you're in Call of Duty. You're going to die. You can't even walk no more. And the Bengals give him a chance. So Baker doesn't have to kiss his ass. Okay, so Baker's fine, but Baker also doesn't have to be pissed at him for going to the Bengals. Okay, it doesn't make sense to get pissed at another coach for doing a job. Not in the NFL. Hugh Jackson is not at fault at all in the situation. Not at fault at all. Not at fault at all. Flacco or Lamar Jackson for my good friend Brooks. Joe Flacco is going to be more talented than Lamar Jackson's ever going to be. Lamar Jackson cannot throw a football to save his dang life, okay? Lamar Jackson throws the ball like Blake Bortles and Tebow. Lamar Jackson is fast. Lamar Jackson has swagger, is mentally tougher than Joe Flacco is, okay? Joe Flacco is apathetic, doesn't give a shit. But Lamar Jackson's not going to be any good either. That's why I'm picking Atlanta to beat the Ravens this week because Lamar Jackson throws soft flutter balls. He can't throw a fastball in the NFL. He can't. And I just don't think he's going to do it. So Lamar's winning right now unless they run Georgia Tech, which it's not going to. Lamar Jackson, I'd be very surprised if he sustains a long NFL career. I have no reason to hate on Lamar Jackson. It's actually very entertaining watching him play. But with that being said, do I really think Lamar Jackson is going to start, 70 games in the NFL and be very, very good? Or is he going to be like a Blake Bortles where he might have one okay year? Or might be Teddy Bridgewater and be inconsistent? He's not going to be a long-term answer there. I think he was a waste of a first-round pick. I think it was the guy, the Alabama general manager over there, saying, this is my last year, and I'm going to throw this thing against the wall and see if it works. And Ozzie Newsome, he built that Ravens 2000 defense. He's had some really good drafts. So that's Ozzie freaking Newsome. Yeah. Yeah, but again, you're saying it's below average, though. So, you're agreeing with me. Let's talk about Demarcus Lawrence and the freaking defensive end of the Cowboys. I love that somebody on the Cowboys actually has a pulse to go after the New Orleans Saints right now. I love what Tank Lawrence is doing. He's rallying the fans of Dallas, saying we're going to choke the F out of the New Orleans Saints. And then Michael Thomas is going back. Because the thing about the Cowboys is that Jason Garrett is spineless. He is not a motivational character. And you need your players to carry that coach to success, okay? And right now, Tank Lawrence is trying to be an alpha dog. And I freaking love it because that Cowboys team is just kind of going along right now. And somebody needs to stand up for the Dallas Cowboys. Somebody needs to take on that leadership role. And that's what Tank Lawrence is doing. It's ballsy. It takes tons of courage to say that because you're insulting one of the great offenses of the 21st century. Okay, so it's not like he's insulting Josh Allen. It's not like he's insulting the Bills, or it's not like he's saying we're going to kick the crap out of Colt McCoy. He's going right up to Drew Brees and saying we're going to choke you out. That, to me, takes balls. And I'm freaking excited for this game. Demarcus Lawrence is a gosh damn rock star for that move. I love it. And I like Michael Thomas coming back. I mean, this is an entertaining sport, and I am glad now that we have that. Glad now that we have that. I don't think the Saints are mopping the floor either. I think Dallas is covering. I think Dallas can possibly win that game. Let me talk to Pigskin Pete a little college football playoffs. If you're the Alabama Crimson Tide, would you rather play Notre Dame, where their athletes are slow as dirt? Would you rather play Notre Dame? Would you rather play Ohio State, Oklahoma? You'd rather play Notre Dame because Ohio State is a scary team. They beat your ass a couple years ago in the college football playoff. Cardale Jones waxed you at the Sugar Bowl. He kicked your freaking ass as a third-string quarterback. Dwayne Haskins is better than Cardale Jones. And here's the point, too. Alabama hasn't played any good offensive teams at all this year. What's their best? Nick Fitzgerald can't throw. Drew Lock had Derek Dooley and couldn't move a lick. Jarrett Stidham was terrible, and Auburn has no idea what they're doing. The SEC West is the most overrated division in the conference. The SEC East is actually underrated, okay? Tennessee's actually going to be pretty freaking good eventually. But LSU's offense is garbage. Joe Burrow is just okay. Like, the Big 12 is more dangerous than the SEC in a lot of areas. So Notre Dame is perfect. If you're Alabama, why would you want to play Kyler Murray? Kyler Murray to me reminds me of Charlie Ward. Kyler Murray is one of the great talents that we're ever going to see in college football history. I mean, he might not be good in the NFL. He might be a baseball player and whatever. That guy is a freak. That guy is unbelievable. Unbelievable arm talent, so fast. Kyler Murray can beat Alabama, no doubt. Kyler Murray could win a national championship. I think Oklahoma has a good chance to win the national championship. Now, the point is, if Georgia beats Alabama, though, we're never going to see Oklahoma win the national championship. But the thing is, Lincoln Riley, first off, the defense is terrible. But, they almost beat UGA with the same crappy defense last year. You need a special quarterback to win, and Deshaun Watson showed that you're a special quarterback, and Oklahoma is going to have a chance to do this thing with Kyler Murray at quarterback. There's zero doubt about it in my mind. Ohio State actually is playing really, really well right now. So they've had a shitty season. They're not a deserving team to go into the college football playoff, but if they're in, they're going to be a dangerous team. I think they're going to be dangerous because what's his name? JT Barrett was awful in that Fiesta Bowl, and Clemson is so good. But Dwayne Haskins is a little bit of a different animal. So, Pete, what you need is you need the Atlantic, you need the ACC to be better. Mark Richt is a fraudulent coach. You don't have any good coaches in that league. You just don't, man. I mean, Justin Fuente, I don't know what the hell happened to Fuente, okay? I don't know what happened to Virginia Tech. Like, I'm still worried about Virginia Tech. Like, Cutcliffe's a good coach. I don't know for the life of me why the ACC can't get competitive, okay? Dave Doran is as average as a coach as you're going to find. NC State is a garbage program. It could be so much better. I mean, I know they have defensive line talent. They have no continuity in Raleigh, okay? None whatsoever. So I really want to see Georgia Tech, like, hire a Lane Kiffin, hire, like, a Petrino. Like, I want this freaking league to be competitive. I do. That's true. But it's so boring being a Clemson fan right now. You've achieved everything. How much does it suck to be Clemson, Pete? Because you can go 13-0, or you could go 12-0, and if you lose in the first round of the playoffs, it's a failure. The first 12 weeks are like a waste of your time. That sucks, man. It sucks to be a fan of Clemson right now. It's not fun. It was fun when you guys were building, but now that you're at the top, it's not fun. It wouldn't be fun for me. It's not fun watching Clemson games. You guys win by 50 points. You're unbelievable as a program. You guys literally sleep until December, until late January. It's disappointing that your regular season is not entertaining, and that's why I want the ACC to finally get more competitive so you guys get rattled a little bit. I mean, because it's not fair. You guys are so unbelievably better than everybody. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. The regular season's so boring. I completely agree. The Oklahoma Sooners are ridiculous. The Oklahoma Sooners are really great. Now, I have Ventura in here in the chat, and let's rate the Big Ten coaches. Let's rate the best programs in the Big Ten, not just this year, but for the future. First, I'm going to take Nebraska and Scott Frost as the best program in the Big Ten by far, okay? Because Scott Frost, everywhere he's been successful. Adrian Martinez is Heisman Trophy material. Nebraska is going to be fast. They're going to be really, really good, okay? Nebraska is number one. Number two, I'm going to say PJ Fleck in Minnesota. Minnesota is going to be a 10-11 win team. They're the new Michigan State of the Big Ten, okay? Their recruiting is absolutely outrageous. So PJ Fleck's number two on that list. Number three, I might go Pat Fitzgerald because Hunter Johnson's a really good quarterback. But I'm not going James Franklin, and I'm going Pat Fitzgerald in Northwestern. Then what do you have? You then have, I don't know if I'll go Urban Meyer then maybe 4. He's going to be retired in 2 years, but Ohio State is going to be decent, whoever they freaking hire. And then you have Michigan State and Michigan. Michigan I would rank, and then I'd put Penn State. The Big Ten is deeper, but at the same time, it's a little bit slower and just not as good as some of the other conferences, unfortunately. Like the middle is better, but you know what I mean? Like Iowa, Wisconsin, it's very deep, but at the same time, it's not perfect. It's like you go to a bar and there's a bunch of 6s there, a bunch of 7s there. But there's no 10s in the Big Ten. Anyway. I don't know about Clemson smacking Alabama. Alabama's okay, but they're not one of the best. I don't know if they're the best team ever. Tua is a Drew Brees at quarterback. Quinnen Williams is a good player. Their secondary is nowhere near as good as a couple of years ago with Minkah Fitzpatrick, Marlon Humphrey, Reuben Foster. I can't even name their linebackers. Who do they have? Mac Wilson. They have some safety, Deontay Thompson or something. That's a good safety. Their defense is nowhere close. Their defense used to be unbelievable when they had like Mosley and Jonathan Allen. Like, come on, you have Quinnen Williams and then you have Raekwon Davis. Okay, you're fine in the middle of the defense. Your offense is really good, but your defense is nowhere close to where it once was. Clemson went on the road to College Station, got a win. They hammered Duke, and Duke has good coaching, a good quarterback. They beat NC State. Syracuse, they didn't even have their quarterback, but it's a really Clemson was, the schedule was really sad. And Alabama, like I said, they beat a couple of teams in the SEC. LSU to me doesn't really have a lot of offense. I mean, going down to LSU and playing in that game was at least decent. I know LSU beat Georgia, but Georgia was still trying to figure themselves out. If Alabama beats Georgia, it'll by far be their best win all year. And also, I think Bama's schedule was tougher than Clemson, though. I know people are arguing that in the comments. But Auburn, I think if Auburn went to Clemson, it would still be a competitive game, actually. Like, I think if Missouri went to Clemson, especially Missouri right now, that would actually be a really good game. I think even Tennessee going to Clemson would get a tiny bit interesting. So there you go. What I wanted to talk about is I'm going to talk a little bit about NFL picks. I talked a little bit about the best coaching candidates. But it is time now to talk about quarterback prospects for the 2019 NFL draft. The quarterbacks that I like in 2019, I really like Will Grier as a quarterback now. Okay, I wasn't a Will Grier guy to start off this season. I thought Will Grier had a weak arm, okay? But the bottom line is this guy's a really decisive player. And I think Will Grier is going in. If I had to rank the quarterbacks for the following year, if they were eligible to come out, Kyler Murray is eligible. He's number one on this list. And then I'm going to go The trendy answer is Justin Herbert, but I'm going to take Will Grier maybe and then Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's as overrated as they come. He doesn't have the highest upside in the world. Everybody's acting like Herbert's the best thing since sliced bread. Herbert is just the safest choice to play at the NFL level. He's not going to win you Super Bowls at the NFL level. Will Grier to me is like Kirk Cousins at the NFL level. So that is that. Consumer, how are you, my friend? What is going on, Consumer Bots? How are you? My Josh Allen film review happened to actually be pretty decently rated. Drew Lock to me is Nick Foles. He can't move. He can't scan the field. That's the thing. He has a tremendous arm, but he's Nick Foles. He can't move. He can't scan the field, you know? So unfortunately for Drew Lock, he's going to go in the third round probably, unless someone falls in love with him at the pro day. But he is Nick Foles. He's never going to get a lot of time to start in the NFL. He's not going to be a starter because he is not athletic enough to play the position. He doesn't make decisive reads in the pocket. He doesn't throw guys open at all. People make fun of Josh Allen all the time, and Josh Allen is so much faster than Drew Lock. Drew Lock is clumsy, and he's just not going to pan out. And I love Drew Lock, but if you watch that Alabama Drew Lock tape, it gets really, really ugly. But Drew Lock's a really fun guy to talk about. I'm going to be rooting for him, but I just don't see that ever transpiring. I mean, I don't even know about Dwayne Haskins. I don't even know if he's going to pan out and be really good either. He might be. He's okay. He's okay. I just don't know. I don't know if he's mobile enough either. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of NFL picks right now to end off this session of the show. I'm really excited about the Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints. And right now I'm going to get the NFL lines for this week, and we are going to pick games that we really, really like in the NFL. Thank you guys for tuning into the show, by the way. Great question, though, on Derek Carr. I think the Raiders should select Will Grier at quarterback, probably. Derek Carr, I did a film review on him. He has lost all decisiveness to throw the football, and it's a shame what's going on with Derek Carr right now. It's really a shame. Hey, Big Blue for Life, what's going on, pal? So Derek Carr, I think, is dead. I don't think that he's ever going to get back to the point that he was a couple of years ago. He's lost all confidence. His throwing motion is bad. He's just gun shy in the pocket. He doesn't have a lot of arm talent. He got by with being a badass mofo like Mitchell Trubisky and playing with that kind of confidence and arrogance that he needed to play with, that Kirk Cousins always plays with, okay? And he doesn't have, and he's way too gun shy right now to ever get it back. Bears and Giants. This is one that a lot of you guys are going to be interested in hearing my commentary. I'm more excited for this Bears game than I am the Philadelphia Eagles. And the reason I am more excited about this Bears game is because if the Giants beat the Eagles, they would still be 4-7. They would still have pretty much no chance at making the playoffs if they beat the Eagles. People were acting like the Giants had a chance to make the playoffs if they beat the Eagles. There was no way that they were going to beat the Colts, okay, and the Chicago Bears. There was no way that they were going to run the table. None. Their defense is terrible. Andrew Luck would have killed that defense. What I like this week is I really like that the Giants are playing a quarterback that is really not to the level of Carson Wentz. A quarterback I can argue that Jameis Winston might even be better than in Mitchell Trubisky. And Mitchell Trubisky is hurt a little bit. And the weather is going to be about 35 degrees, okay? And the Giants are good at stopping the run at home. They're pretty decent when they play home games at stopping the run. The point about the Chicago Bears is that the Bears, if they don't possess the ball a lot, you might be able to hit some explosive plays against them. And the spread in that game is 4 points right now between the Giants and the Chicago Bears. And you don't know if Mitchell Trubisky is going to be playing. If it's Chase Daniel, it's going to be very close. And the Lions kept it close. So there's a good chance that the Giants can maybe win this game, especially if Saquon Barkley runs the football. And then the great news for Eli Manning, the reason I'm more excited for this game than the Eagles game is because with the Philadelphia Eagles game, if Eli Manning won that football game, he would have still gotten zero respect because the Eagles suck in the secondary and the Chicago Bears are an elite defense. So if Eli balls out against Chicago, ruins their lead in the NFC North, people will start to respect Pat Shurmur and actually respect the New York Giants for beating a quality team like Chicago, especially if Trubisky's at quarterback. But the matchup of Pat Shurmur versus Vic Fangio is a matchup that I think for Giants fans is so fascinating that you need to watch how Pat Shurmur goes up against the best defense in the NFL. Big Blue for life. I think that you've been a Drew Lock guy, and I was a Drew Lock guy too, but I look at his footwork, and I just said that it's Nick Foles' footwork, which, again, won't work at the NFL, and he's not fast enough to get to reads. The more I watch Will Grier, the more I like of Will Grier. I mean, you look at Will Grier, and the reason he's not going to be taken maybe in the top 5 is because Will Grier can't throw the ball 45 yards or 50 yards. But he's very, very accurate. Like, he can't throw it 60 yards. He can only throw it about 50 yards. And he also can't throw fastballs like Pat Mahomes can to the sidelines. But Will Grier has great moxie, great leadership. He loves the game of football. He's married, he's mature, but also he throws with anticipation. And he has really a lot of traits that you like. The footwork is very good. He's very defined at the quarterback position. He's a winner. He's clutch. He makes big-time plays. He has that swagger that you really like. I do like Will Grier a hell of a lot. And I think that he even has more arm talent than like a Gardner Minshew. So I do like Will Grier, and I've continued to evolve on that opinion. Okay, I have. The reason why I think that Derek Carr doesn't fit John Gruden's system is Derek Carr needs to be in a system where he doesn't have to think that much, where it's a lot of play action pass and going deep down the field. John Gruden is giving his quarterbacks way too much to think about when they are taking the field. They are thinking so many things in their head that he's overcomplicating the game of football for these quarterbacks, and especially for these young millennial players. You just got to let the guys play. Who's like Christian Ponder? Will Grier? That would be really terrible. That would be freaking awful, man. I mean, Christian Ponder was a disgrace at the NFL, or he was pretty bad. His best accomplishment is marrying Samantha Ponder. Let's continue with the NFL games. Again, I've said the Lamar Jackson piece. I might have to go and look at 5 throws and throw up a film review tonight about Lamar Jackson. But I look at Lamar Jackson, and I like Atlanta in this game to win. I like Atlanta. You give me the 3 points at home. I love Atlanta in that spot. Even the Cowboys could barely beat Atlanta. Atlanta's a very, very good home team. The Saints barely beat Atlanta at home. A game that I really, really like is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh defeated Carolina so badly at home. Pittsburgh lost on the road to Denver. Everybody's going to be clamoring that Big Ben is falling off. And this is a perfect spot for the Pittsburgh Steelers to absolutely rock a team in the LA Chargers that are very inconsistent. And Phillip Rivers on the road, I don't see him being able to compete with Big Ben Roethlisberger. I love the Steelers. I love Mike Tomlin a hell of a lot more than Anthony Lynn in this spot. Melvin Gordon is not playing in this game. James Conner and Antonio Brown are going to feast on the LA Chargers. And I don't think the Chargers defense can stop the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then I don't think that Phillip Rivers is going to have much success against the Steelers in a Sunday night spot. I absolutely love the Steelers. They're my favorite pick of the week. Another line that is the weirdest line in the world is the Indianapolis Colts, a very good Indianapolis team, is going to Jacksonville, and they are only favored by 3 points. Now, maybe the Cody Kessler move will galvanize the locker room, because you have to admit that the Jaguars played really well against the Steelers a couple of weeks ago. That was a tremendous defensive game. And maybe the Jags, now that Blake Bortles is out of the picture, they'll play inspired football for a new quarterback, for a new beginning. Tom Coughlin gave them the vote of confidence. The Colts didn't play that well against the Dolphins, but still, I'm taking the better team, the better quarterback, the team that's still in the playoff race. I'm going to go with my gut, with my heart, and I'm going to take the Colts there because that line is so weird, and I'm going to take the Colts. A line that is a very sneaky game, a sneaky upset pick for me, is going to be Tampa Bay over Carolina. I love how Jameis Winston is playing right now. Jameis has recovered. Now, of course, Jameis might revert back to 4-interception Jameis Winston, but if Jameis finishes this season clean, it would go such a long way for him in his future. Tampa Bay was able to beat the Saints the last game of the year. Tampa is a pretty good home team with a defense that is really rallying. I actually like Tampa. I'll pick them to win this game outright over Carolina. This is going to be a complete dogfight. It's going to be an unbelievable football game. The line is Carolina -4. YOLO and Big Blue for life. Davis Webb, baby. So the news is Josh McCown's thumb is a little bit injured. I heard from some Jets sources that Sam Darnold is probably not going to play against the Tennessee Titans. The great news for Davis Webb is that he might start this week. And if Davis Webb starts this week, this would be huge because the game is at 4 o'clock. So he's not even going to be with the 1 o'clock games. He gets a primetime 4 o'clock game in Nashville. That's going to be, and versus a defense that it's possible he plays well against. I would love that so much. That would be a dream come true. It would make NFL Sunday really, really fun to watch. I don't know why the Jets don't give Davis Webb a chance. You know McCown is, you know exactly what he is. Maybe the Jets are afraid that he does so well, Sam Darnold is ousted. But why not give a guy some trade bait? Why not start Davis Webb? I don't know a good reason why you're not starting Davis Webb. And I wish the guy would go out, and if he throws 4 interceptions, at least that would give me a little more peace of mind that he needs more time to develop in scout team work. Ooh, they could have drafted Deshaun Watson, and did they? That's a shame. It's really a shame because the quarterbacks are not as good coming out right now. The best quarterbacks are still in college, like Trevor Lawrence, Hunter Johnson, Eason, Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think Jake Fromm is that good, but a lot of guys are coming up that are pretty decent. Even Justin Fields, maybe Emory Jones. I mean, some of those guys you'll have to see. Should you start Mark Ingram or Josh Adams? Mark Ingram is playing against the Cowboys, and I don't like that matchup at all. I love Josh Adams against the Redskins defense. You have the Monday night factor over the Thursday night. I do believe in that kind of weird stuff, you know, where it's good to have a guy, it's good to have a power guy in your holster for Monday night. It always is. And who's a better defense, Dallas or Washington? It's got to be playing Washington at home. So absolutely. Tua Tagovailoa, he doesn't have like the biggest arm Ventura, but he's a magical quarterback. He's succeeded everywhere he's been with the Elite 11 and everything. And going against Georgia last year in the national championship, nobody would have been able to win that game. Tua, it has all the tools to be amazingly successful. I think that he does have a very good, I think Mike Locksley is pretty good. I think that Henry Ruggs is unbelievable. I think Judy is unbelievable. Irv Smith is like O.J. Howard almost. You know, you have Jacobs and Damian Harris and all these guys. Like, exactly. It's a great offensive staff, but Tua has the quickest release in college football, the most mentally tough athlete we've ever seen. And even last year, he was lighting it up so much in practice that Jalen Hurts was always on his heels. So he has the quickest release. He's deadly accurate. He has instincts you can't teach, and his personality is great. He's Drew Brees. That's exactly who he is at the next level. He's Drew Brees. Drew Brees gets the ball out of his hands quickly. It's a short and concise release. Tua will be Drew Brees at the next level for sure. He is he to me is the best draft guy that you can have. He's the Andrew Luck of the next few years. Hey David, what's up, bro? How are you, man? I believe your Atlanta Falcons have a great chance. What's going on? Thanks so much for making the stream, man. David in Atlanta, go check out his content. He is awesome, man. He's a great guy. We had a great time week 1. I really hope we meet up again. Whew. I'm just wearing this shirt. I went to Daphne, Alabama, and I went to the Senior Bowl in Mobile, which is a really great time for any of you guys that are out there. It is the last week in January, and I went and I got this Alabama 2017 championship shirt. I like Nick Saban a lot. I respect Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. I like Tua. I don't like the UGA fans as much, and I know that's going to hurt David, but they were kind of cocky last year with how good they were becoming. That, to me, Alabama football I'm fine with, and I don't have an SEC team, but this Alabama shirt, when you're in Alabama, it's a good idea to just get merchandise. So that's kind of what it is. I think Georgia has a great chance in the game as well. I don't think Alabama's defense is that good. DeAndre Swift is playing so well. That game against Kentucky was great. Jake Fromm is playing decisive ball right now, playing unbelievable football. And Alabama's not going to be that motivated. They're going to not want to play Oklahoma or Ohio State. I think Georgia really keeps it close in the game. I'm actually probably going to pick Georgia to win the game, because I think that Alabama will win the national championship over Georgia again. They'll go back and flip-flop. You know how Alabama lost to LSU in 2009 and then they flip-flopped into it? So, great question, though, about Reuben Foster. I love the Redskins picking up Foster because it's no risk. And also on the Washington Redskins, you have Jonathan Allen. You have, I think, Deron Payne's on that team. You have, Ryan Anderson on that team. You have so many Bama guys that know Reuben Foster that can vouch for the guy and say, we were at Alabama together. And for the Redskins, it's no risk at all. It's a good decision by Washington. It was perfect, because if you get Reuben Foster, without the trouble, it's a good idea. For the 49ers, it was great that they cut him because, again, the guy just keeps making mistakes. You can't defend Reuben Foster anymore. Yeah, I will. I'll tell him for sure. Is Eric Berry coming back? That's unbelievable. I did not know that. Thank you so much. Top 3 wide receiver prospects of the 2019 draft. That's a great question. The ones that I've seen play, I'm going to say A.J. Brown, because I've seen a lot of Ole Miss games with Jordan Ta'amu and Shea Patterson. And to me, A.J. Brown is like a Dez Bryant. He has great size. He can go up and attack the football. He's a really, really good player. So A.J. Brown is there. I think Metcalf is a second-round guy. So the wide receivers at Ole Miss are unbelievable. I'm going Hollywood Brown. Marquise Brown, to me, is like a Tyreek Hill, okay? The NFL is trending towards fast receivers. You got to go Hollywood Brown. He actually is the cousin of Antonio Brown. They grew up in Miami, Antonio Brown is his older cousin, and they lived in Miami, okay? Their whole family, the Brown family, okay? So Hollywood Brown, a million percent. Hollywood Brown is going to be a star. I would maybe think Hollywood might even be number one on my board. What is Evan Ingram's problem? Evan Ingram, his problem is that he's not playing on the field a lot. He's a little small. He's a little like Trey Burton. He needs to get the football more. He needs to pretty much play. And he's just not that good of a blocker. That's his problem. But it's also a Shermer and Eli problem. They got to give this guy the football because he should be able to beat man coverage. He's a fast receiver. He's really good. Hugh Freeze was able to utilize the guy. He should be able to utilize him. Oh, my gosh, dude. I mean, Hollywood Brown to the 49ers. And then casual viewer. I have to shut the door because things are getting a little bit loud in my house. And by loud, I mean that one person's at my house. But I need to ask you, would you sign Le'Veon Bell? That's the big 49er question of the offseason. All right, guys, I am back. Thank you guys for hanging in. And I really hope that some people decide to watch this thing back. Again, we just went everywhere with the live stream, but it's a lot of fun. I'm going to do this every Wednesday. It's like a Q&A where we talk football, we talk big storylines. Earlier in the show, I covered the Hugh Jackson, Baker Mayfield situation. And then what I ended up doing was I also talked about Demarcus Lawrence's comments, which I thought were very interesting. I told you about the college football playoff. I think that college football should go to 8 teams. And I also don't like divisions in college football because I really hate how like the SEC East and Georgia can only play Alabama every 4 years during the regular season. And I would love for the SEC and for all conferences to eliminate divisions. It would make the conferences more competitive. Oh, thank you, Dave. I really, really appreciate that, David. I really appreciate that. The secondary, yes. I think a great safety is very, very important. You know what sucks, man, is that Derwin James was there last year. And I know McClinchy is not a bad pick, but Derwin James, we were right on him because we said he would have been great. And you would have had a safety that's really, really good, and it's really sad. I think offensive line as well, so you can get O-line second and third round. Wide receivers, I don't know what wide receivers are in free agency, but it's a very deep class for wide receivers. And then I'll tell you what, there's this kid, Justice Hill, out of Oklahoma State. He has a skill set similar to Alvin Kamara, where he would be a good late-round running back, like in the 4th round to get, is Justice Hill. So those are my favorite players. Yeah, it's sad. He was just a hard hitter. Everybody fell in love with him at the end of last year. His story was very appealing to Niner fans. It didn't work out. Oh, man, I know. The injuries killed him. I mean, I still love Dan Quinn. You got to give Sark credit. Matt Ryan's balling right now. That team needs, like, just health, Tack McKinley to get back. And I believe the Atlanta Falcons, you guys play in such a competitive little division over there. Like, the thing about Atlanta is the NFC is so damn hard that you guys are going to need to pick that 1 year where you have an easy schedule and where you get to 11 wins, and you're going to have to win a Super Bowl that way. But unfortunately, Matt Ryan is a very good quarterback. Dan Quinn's a good coach. You're a really good franchise. But I don't want to see you guys go into purgatory. And the NFC is just so brutal with the Saints and the LA Rams right now. It's absolutely brutal. I think you guys will be better in 3 years when Drew Brees gets too old. That's kind of my feeling right now with Atlanta. Great question with the Giants and the quarterback. It's something I think about all the time. I would, of course, love Tua. He's the one quarterback that I believe is consistent and is the best choice. But I'm going to go with two guys that I think are good options for the Giants. I think that Justin Herbert's a good option and Will Grier. And believe it or not, I have to see Will Grier a little bit more, but I'm leaning. It's very close. I might lean Herbert over Grier a little bit, but Will Grier to me as a quarterback, I wouldn't mind really at all. I think Will Grier would be great. Absolutely. Thank you guys. I'm going to head out right now. It was a lot of fun with y'all. Take care. This is a good time to end the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciated it.